Hey everybody, it's episode 412 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It's Wednesday, July 6th, 2022. I am Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
And Walnut.
What's up?
Who seems to be working on his diaphragm or something.
I mean, I was just going, hey, with the same amount of length the shirt was going, hey, so we were going, hey, together.
Yeah, but you kind of just kept going.
Because he kept going.
You kept going after me.
Just like, because I was waiting for you to stop, so I got that a little extra because I had that reaction time of waiting for you to stop.
I just thought you were trying, I thought maybe you were working on becoming an opera singer or something.
I mean, look, I can hold a note for a while. I can.
No.
I don't know what note it is.
So
but I could go,
So
I could have kept going just a little bit longer.
Not by much. I could hear you reaching your limits there. That was definitely not a note. That was several notes, but the good capacity.
Yeah, that's what I meant though. Like I could hold. I've got decent breath control. I wasn't really working on much when we were doing the hey. It was just really trying to match Drew.
Well, good job. Good job on having breath control.
It happened. It's one of a few things I'm good at that are meaningless skills for myself.
That's most everybody's. Like, no one's good at anything that's actually useful.
Yeah, true.
I completely forgot to mention it last week, but last week was Summer Games Done Quick. They raised another $3 million for charity. And then afterwards, apparently people got angry at them for raising $3 million for charity.
Wait, what?
Why did people get mad at them for
because
raising
the internet's
that much money?
Fucking stupid. So the very last run on the schedule was a bonus run. And it was, if they hit 3 million, it was like an any % Elden Ring run.
Okay.
And the run before that was like a specific category Elden Ring. And it was the same person running it. It was basically like, here's a 2-hour Elden Ring run, and then here's like a 25-minute, like, we're just gonna glitch to the end of the game Elden Ring run.
Okay.
And they weren't at 3 million after Elden Ring, so they assumed that was that. So they were like getting set up for like their like final interview with the people from Doctors Without Borders, and all of a sudden their donations just started skyrocketing. So like they sort of like let it ride for a little while and like started prepping to get the game back up and running. So there was like a 10 or 15 minute window at like 3 a.m. where they weren't doing anything except for showing the donation things ticking up and the crowd being really excited. And people got angry at them for that. For being excited that they raised $1 million for charity.
I'm still like I'm still confused. Like, who got mad at them? Like, that's what I'm confused
People on
about.
Reddit, like
Well,
literally
that's the
people
problem.
on the
Reddit.
internet.
It's fucking Reddit is,
but like,
one of the worst places on the fucking internet.
What?
You're not
no, I mean,
It is
maybe one of, but like, it's
It's
still
definitely not the worst. It's fucking way up there, though.
Like, Reddit is one of those places where there are plenty of subreddits that are great, but then the bigger ones are just fucking shit shows.
Well, it's Reddit is a social media site for people who are against social media, and they're just pretentious assholes. And I say this knowing a lot of people who refuse to have social media, but constantly go on Reddit and get all the same information I get 2 or 3 days later. So, like,
They're also apparently just bad at Reddit if they're getting it 2 or 3 days later.
I mean, they don't, like, it's more of, like, the stuff that they get, like movie trailers or whatever, they're not looking for that, so it just comes to them a few days later. It's like, yeah, I saw that 3 days ago, but I don't show it to you because you get mad at me every time I show you something from social media, so, whatever. But, Reddit can be bad, especially different portions of it. I just still like I don't the blanket term of people got mad at them. Like I don't understand still. Like
there's no other way to put it. There is not a single group of people that was mad at them. There is a subset of people on the internet that were angry at them for not doing something for 15 minutes, basically, because they said they were falsely like inflating their time by letting it just run with nothing going on. And it's like, it was over. Like, if they didn't hit 3 million, there was nothing else to do. Instead, they happened to hit 3 million in those few minutes where they were, like, swapping things around. So they got to do one more run. And, like, on top of that, it was $3 million all going to charity. I don't why people get mad about stuff like that is insane.
Because there's shitheads on Reddit.
That's
what it is. They're pieces of shit. They get mad about good things. Fuck them. Who cares?
But they're not mad at them for raising money. They're like based on what I'm understanding from what you're saying, Cobb. They're mad at them because there was no content for 15 minutes, which is not a reason to be mad about.
No, they are mad at them for focusing on the money because they spent 15 minutes hyping people up that they were close to 3 million. That is what people are mad about. And then they got mad that some runners got pulled from the schedule because they volunteered to not do their run because they already had other runs in the show. Like, people were just finding any reason to get angry at this event because, like, they were successful.
Well, that's just internet anonymity right there. Like,
yeah, like, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
but still,
I've been dealing with a similar issue. Well, not success in millions of dollars issue, but I was dealing with someone yesterday, which is why we didn't record yesterday. Who, because they can kind of stick with anonymity, even though I've spoken with them in many times, they're mad at me about something stupid.
Yep, that's the internet in a nutshell.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But on the good side, they did raise $3 million, and they had a lot of really cool runs. They had some fun, like, Mario Relay things where, like, it was all those, like, Kaizo levels and, like, and the Mario Maker levels that people are just assholes about.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, these people, they just, like, blind read some of these levels. Like, this one girl actually, like, got the level on the first try. Like, just fucking blitz through it. Having never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the other team, like, never got through that level.
Damn.
Yeah. Because the way the relay works is basically, like, once the person finishes it, the other team has no reason to keep going because the other team got the point already. So, like, once they die, they kind of just stop it. But, like, she was not the first person on her team to go after the level, if I remember correctly. So, like, there had been several attempts before she got it and then just, like, plowed through it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They also apparently have and I didn't know this was a thing. There is a Kaizo Super Metroid that it's not like Mario where it's like, oh, like, here's, like, a bunch of, like, unconnected things. It's somebody actually completely remade Super Metroid, but, like, made it harder and, like, changed, like, the map and, like, everything around.
Interesting.
And yeah, it was really cool. It looked super hard because you still get, like, all the item upgrades. So you still get missiles and the super jump and space jump and all that stuff, and you'll get missile upgrades. There are no health upgrades at all. So the whole game, you only have 99 health.
Oh, damn.
And there's one section of it where it is in, like, the lava or, like, whatever that like, stuff is supposed to be, where, like, your health just ticks down constantly at, like, a rapid pace. Rich, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about because you recently played through Super Metroid.
Yeah.
So it was one of those sort of levels, and it's like every screen there was either enemies that would give you a little bit of health back, or like a health recharge station that you basically had to recharge twice. You had to recharge once to get back up, then reposition yourself to be on the side that you needed to be on, and then do, like, a little, like, it's not a glitch per se, but there's basically a manipulation where if you pause right as you, like, interact with the recharge thing, it doesn't make you stand there for the recharge. It actually will recharge as you're running. So you get, like, 3 or 4 seconds extra before, like, your health is refilled.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they were doing that. It was like a 10-minute section of this person just flawlessly getting through this thing and getting back up. And I think he died less than 10 times.
Damn.
Yeah. Whereas, like, I would have died 10 times in just the first section where, like, you run from Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
you would have died 10 times just trying to figure out the trick.
Oh,
doing
yeah.
the healing.
No, I mean, I would have died far more than 10 times. Like,
Yeah.
But do you remember, Rich? Do you remember off the top of your head how long you have to escape from that first section after you fight Ridley?
Is
Is it like a minute or something like that?
Probably a minute or two. Like, I don't really remember fully.
15 seconds. That's how long this game gives you. 15 seconds to do the same run.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like, he made it there with less than a second to spare.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, I could never do it. And
No.
yeah, apparently, like, very few people have ever finished that whole thing. Like, it's just that kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting because I never knew that existed before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Rich, what's on the agenda?
Oh, it's a pretty light show today. We're gonna talk some Fire Emblem Warrior 3 Hopes. We're gonna talk some Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. We're gonna talk some of the Uncharted film, and announce the next book club feature. But first, did you guys know that they gave us a release date for God of War Ragnarok?
I did. I forgot about it until you reminded us, though.
Yeah, they announced it like early this morning or something like that. It's coming out November 9th, which I honestly I wasn't fully expecting it this year. So that's like I was expecting early next year, like January, February next year. So that's a lot sooner than I was expecting.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been shocked if it had gotten bumped to 2023, and honestly, I still wouldn't be shocked if it still did get bumped. Like, a release date, like we've seen many times, not a guarantee.
Yeah.
I think at this point, with as much times as, especially Corey Balrog has said, it's coming out this year, it's coming out this year.
Look, you are probably right. Corey is not involved in this game, though. So, what the fuck does his opinion mean?
Yes, is he not?
No. I mean, look, I'm pretty sure he's the studio creative director, so yes, he is. I was kidding. But no, he is not directing this one. Somebody else is the director for this game. He is working on that unannounced title that I think people are assuming is sci-fi.
Oh.
Because there was something like a year or two ago, like he had done something on Twitter that was kind of spacey, and then like shortly after that announced that he was working on a new game entirely and was no longer the director for God of War.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's been any other information than that. But yeah, I'm still pretty sure he is high up at that studio. Like, he knows what's going on with the game, even if he does troll people about it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But does Sony have any other first-party stuff other than the Last of Us remake coming out in the fall?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, Rich, you're going to be playing Monster Hunter for the next 17 months, so...
I mean, yes and no.
Don't lie to us.
No, I mean, yeah, I will be playing Monster Hunter for the next 17 months, but, like, I got 30 hours into it this weekend. I don't need to put more than, like, a handful of hours into it a week at this point. I'll be playing it Mondays, maybe the occasional Saturday or Sunday, but, like, I got my full of it this weekend, and now it's back to once a week, so... but like you guys know, I don't really follow release dates that much. Like, God of War is a big name title that, like, I really follow, but anything else, like, I'm gonna forget this in, like, 3 days.
That's true. That is true.
So, I forgot that the Fire Emblem Warriors thing was coming out. Like, I pre-ordered Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak the day before it came out.
Why even pre-order it at that point?
Because I wanted to get a pre-install.
Oh, okay.
That Steam didn't do. So it was pointless.
Oh, they didn't let you pre-install or preload or whatever?
No. I'll get into that when we talk about Monster Hunter, because that's going to be our first thing we're going to do a quick complaint about against Steam. But yeah, they didn't do like a preload or a pre-install or anything like that for Steam didn't do a pre-install for Monster Hunter.
That's very dumb.
And as far as I can tell, going through the Wikipedia list of 2022 game releases, Sony doesn't have anything else they're publishing coming out this year.
Yeah, so, like, being that Sony generally has at least one kind of big first-party release for, like, the Christmas season, like, if God of War gets delayed, like, they're not going to be happy about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like they waited this long to give a release date. I feel like they are in a spot they're confident that it's coming out when they've said it's coming out.
Mm-hmm. Like, if this were last year, if this were like a year ago, and they said it was coming out at this point at this year, I like a year and a half from then, I'd be like, all right, maybe not.
Mm-hmm. But 4 months, like
4 months is that shows confidence. That shows like we know it's ready.
Yeah,
like,
you're not wrong.
A year and a half is big hopes. 4 months is confidence.
Like, even if they had announced this in, like, March, I'd be a little more towards your side, Cobb, where it's like, who knows? But it's July. Like, the game's coming out in 4 months.
Didn't they announce Final Fantasy 15 4 months before it was supposed to be released, and then they delayed it one more time?
Maybe, but that's also Square.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not wrong.
Square announces things. Square just doesn't make any sense when it comes to announcements in general.
I mean, Square just doesn't make any sense. We can just stop right there.
Yeah. They're putting kaiju fights in the next Final Fantasy. So,
which I mean, hey, you should be all for that.
oh, I'm 100% for that. I can't wait.
But yeah, I did. Man, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Did both of you guys play God of War 2018?
Nah.
Of course you didn't.
I haven't played a God of War since God of War 1.
So you know what's funny? I only played a little bit of God of War 1 and I hated it. God of War 2018, actually a pretty good game.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it's free. Like, or actually, is it still on the like PS Plus if you have a PS5 thing?
I believe so.
And if all of us had a PS5, and I made sure to remind everyone to add those games to your library, so you should have it no matter what.
And I actually think, wasn't God of War the free game either this month or last month?
Something like that.
Oh,
I feel like it was recently the free game.
Yeah. I think around when it was released on PC.
Was it that long ago?
I don't know. I can't fully remember. I don't even remember how long ago it was released on PC. I just know it was recently released on PC. But the God of War series as a whole was solid as hell. Like, even like the spin-off games and like the PSP games and whatnot were fucking amazing. Like, I can admit God of War 1 was a little rough around the edges, and if you go back to play it now, it's definitely rough around the edges. But it was released in that time of game releases where, like, they try to do edgy things, like add boobs and shit. But now it's just like, it's like how it's evolved and what it's become, and the continued story amongst all of it. It's so good. And like 2018 was fantastic. Gameplay, style, like story, everything was great. And then I'm excited to see what they're doing with Ragnarok, or what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, same. I'm also curious to see if they actually do wrap up the Norse stuff in this game, and if they leave it open for like another pantheon, or if they just call it there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options that they can go with this. They could turn it into like technically all Ragnarok is the destruction of Asgard, and not really the end of all the gods and everything and blah blah blah. So like they could try to pull it into like a trilogy with, maybe they could do each mythology as a trilogy, but they also left it open that like there's the Egyptian gods, there's the Chinese gods, there's like all of that are like within these separate pseudo universes within this game that like they'll if they do wrap up with the Greeks or the Norse stuff, it's not going to be the end of Kratos. It's not going to be the end of God of War. They'll just push it forward with another pantheon. Which
makes you wonder, like, do you think they'll stick with more of the no longer practiced religions? Like, do you like? I can't see them doing Christianity or anything from like the Middle East that's like still active, or even Asia that's still like actively practiced.
They are definitely more likely to go to the Eastern pantheons, to Chinese religions, to Japanese religions and stuff like that. They're never going to do Christianity because there's only one fucking God in that. They're not going to do Judaism because there's also one God in that. They're not going to do the what is the word? I don't want to say the white people gods, but I can't remember. There's a word that I'm trying to think of that's on the tip.
Monotheistic?
No, that's not what I was looking for, but pretty much that. But yeah, like they're not going to do the religions that are single god religions. There's no way they can do Christianity. There's no way they can do Judaism.
hang on. Let's roll back. Think about this. Think about the Christianity one. Your first bosses, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. That then leads into Satan. They could, if they wanted to, split Satan into like his different like forms that are like referenced in different like biblical things. And then you fight Jesus, and then when you defeat Jesus, and it's like that metal Jesus from the History Channel used to show those like stupid like end of the world documentaries. And then when you defeat Jesus, God then descends.
But I don't know. I can honestly say I know a lot more about Greek, Norse, and even some of the Eastern pantheon, like Asian pantheons, than I do Christianity itself and Catholicism. But Catholicism, like, it was never something where they had what am I trying to say? When it comes to Christianity and Catholicism, to combat God is like, or to be against God, it's like, it's not something that could, in my eyes, based on what I know of Catholicism, make a compelling game unless you're talking about, like, you're fighting the apostles at this point. You're fighting normal fucking people that walked around with Jesus. That's what's going to happen. You're going to start off as Noah, is what this is going to be. And, like, you're going to ride the Judaism in the Old Testament, and then you're going to go towards the Catholicism in the New Testament, but you're just fighting the apostles. That's really all it is. And that's not going to be a fun game, because they didn't have magic, they didn't have powers. And that's the thing
They
about
might in this world.
But that's the thing, like, they kind of stick, I can't say it's grounded, but it is kind of grounded it sticks to pseudo the lore and everything of the source material, and the source material of Catholicism. The only one who, quote, has powers is Jesus, and he doesn't throw fireballs. He walks on water and he turns water into wine.
Well, that's all we ever heard of him doing. But there's that whole book where God is vengeful and, like, raining down sulfur and brimstone.
And there's a whole, like, 26 years of Jesus' life that's not even in the Bible. Like, maybe all that time he was going around doing superpowers.
Yeah, he goes from 11 to 31 like that.
I'm sure.
I mean, no, they wouldn't, because like it would suck. There is nothing.
There's nothing fantastical about Catholicism.
No, dude, Jesus comes riding in on a 6-legged horse and pulls a flaming sword out of his mouth. That would be awesome.
But again, they ground all of this. How is that? How would that come into play?
No, so go. I don't know where in the Bible any of this stuff is, but I remember back in, like, the mid to late 2010s, the History Channel used to always show those, like, wild like biblical prophecy shows and, like, Armageddon shows and shit like that.
Most of that stuff is in Revelations.
Yeah, and, like, it always had, like, the, like, scripture number of, like, where in the books this stuff was, and it was, like, reading it verbatim.
Cobb, they already made this game, though. It's called Darksiders.
I mean, that's true. But
also they had an episode of American Dad where Rapture happened, and you had the dad from American Dad fighting the devil alongside Jesus. So, like, we've had it all happen already.
Yeah, but we haven't had Kratos do it.
I don't want to do it. That's the thing. I don't want to be in Catholicism as Kratos, because Catholicism is boring as fuck.
Read the Book of Revelation. That shit gets wild.
Or
everything else is stupid.
It could bring us into literally like any other pantheon of gods, and it'd just be less boring.
I hope they do the Roman gods.
It's a remake of God of War 1, but it's just changed all the names.
Yeah, it's like Jupiter instead of Zeus and shit. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Just same character models and everything. Just palette swap them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want them to go more Far East, go more into like the Chinese pantheons and stuff. Maybe run into Gilgamesh and other mythical.
I don't know if they would do that, because some of those religions are still practiced. Like nobody really practices the Norse or Greek religions anymore.
But why would you? Like, so many games play into those, and so many games lean into some of these other, like, religions. Like, the only, like, yeah, the religions they've touched on are like, dead language, dead religions, kind of, sort of, but, like, I'm sure there's still people out there that worship the Norse pantheons, and I'm sure there's still people out there who, like, look up to and maybe potentially worship the ancient Greek mythology and stuff like that. I'm sure there's people in fucking Greece who follow the Greek pantheon. Like,
yeah, for almost a guarantee.
But I don't think they're widespread enough.
No.
That like that you'd have that vocal opposition. I could see if Sony tried to release a game where they were murdering the gods of, like, whatever Chinese religion that stuff falls from, like, that there would be backlash to it. Not because there should be, but because there would be.
But that's the thing about God of War, is although it's God of War and it's about gods, it's about mythology. And modern Eastern religions a lot more relate to, like, Buddhism and such. I'm not saying that they're not, like, I don't know what the actual terms for, like, some of the Chinese pantheons and gods are, but they are looked as mythological now, and like that's where it's going. It's going on mythology and not on religion.
See, I'm basing it. I don't disagree with you that it would be interesting. I just don't think Sony would greenlight it because they would end up getting backlash. They're not going to get backlash over things that are like not in any sort of wide way practiced. They
are going to get more. They would get more backlash from Christianity
than
100%. They would if they did Muslim or Hindu.
100%. And I don't think they would actually do Christianity. I was just kidding. I could definitely see them doing Egyptian, though. I could see them doing Roman, as goofy as that would be.
I can see them maybe eventually doing Egyptian, but I don't think they would do it right now.
I think Egyptian's a little too similar to the Greek stuff. Like, different gods, but, like, similar, like, climate, I guess you could say.
I would just go as far as to say fucking Assassin's Creed. Well, I mean, Assassin's Creed just did Norse. But, like, Assassin's Creed, a lot of Assassin's Creed has dealt with Egypt and Egyptian. Like, prior to the most recent Assassin's Creed, they had, like, 2 or 3 games that was in Egypt.
No, it was just Origin.
Egypt. I thought there was another one. Or maybe Origin had, like, a big expansion or something.
So everything since Origin has been overly large, but Origin was Egypt, and then Odyssey was the biggest of them so far, and that was Greece. And then the most recent one was Valhalla, and that was the Norse one.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think they would get. I don't think there's gonna be people out there that make too big of a stink if you use other pantheons.
You are underestimating religious people and their ability to make a stink out of everything.
But you're overestimating religious people and comparing them to Catholicism.
Well, no. I mean, maybe, to me, honestly, like, anything to do with China and any of their religion, I feel is just a complete non-starter. Probably. Like, the way their government handles things, like Cop said, I don't think Sony would greenlight anything to do with Chinese religion.
Yeah, you can't even say Taiwan's a country. And, like, Sony won't let you say that. If your game includes a reference to Taiwan being a country, Sony will make you go in and change it before they will allow you to publish your game on their platform.
Which then kind of only really leaves Egypt. I mean, I guess you could also do, like, why did I blank on the thing I named all my Diablo 3 characters after?
I mean, they could do Hindu. They could do...
But Hindu's, like, practiced. Like,
but
that's where I don't think that they would really get into it.
I don't think... I mean, yeah, it's more... Yeah, it's practiced. But, like, I don't think people, like... I don't think people are gonna have that big of a deal if you have, like, as long as you don't, I don't know. It's a stupid concept to me that people, oh man, this God of War guy is gonna be fighting my gods, and be mad about it. It's like, you could also be saying it's shining a light on your religion.
Well, do you remember
Hinduism, just real quick, Hinduism is the 3rd largest religion in the world. There's 1.2 billion Hindus.
Yeah, Hinduism is huge.
I know it was huge, but, like, when you hear that number is insane. Do you remember
India has 1 billion people. Like, that's the thing to think about.
Fair.
India and China have, like, half the world's population between the two of them.
That is,
or, like,
that
a
is
third.
True. And Delaware has the rest. Do either of you guys remember, it's probably close to 20 years ago at this point, when South Park had an episode banned because they showed, I want to say it was Muhammad?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, that episode has never aired again because there was so much backlash to that. And I don't think it wasn't even anything, like, that bad. They literally, it was like they just showed him. Like,
yeah.
And, like, that's, like, a no-no for that religion.
Yeah, well, there was the, like, French comedic newspaper where people got murdered for drawing a cartoon of Muhammad.
Right. Like, it's wild the links people go to over stuff like that, which is why, like, that is my reasoning for not thinking they would go for anything that was, like, practiced in any sort of modern way.
Okay, so I remember that. The Muhammad, it's because they sparked outcry from terrorist groups.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, because they were depicting Muhammad from terrorist groups.
No, well, I mean,
if they show Hindu or like the Hindi gods, like you really are you expecting them to spark outcry from Hindi terrorist groups? That was the problem with the South Park episodes. It wasn't the outcry from the religious groups, it was the outcry from the radicals who didn't want their god there. And it's stupid.
But that's what would still happen if you have a game where let's be real, Kratos is drawn as a white guy most of the time. Like
essentially, yeah.
Like where a white guy who speaks English is murdering your gods, they're going to have a problem with that. Especially when it's made by a studio based in America.
Yeah, and then even take out the thought of any extremism happening from it, like, you're potentially alienating a 1.2 billion person customer base. Like, that's really where it comes down to, is like, do we want to have this white American, essentially, murder a billion people's god? No. Like,
hey, this guy is Greek, okay?
I mean, he's Greek, but he doesn't
still
look Greek.
He's a Spartan. He's Greek.
Is he a Spartan?
Yeah, he was the last Spartan.
I didn't know that. I've never played the original God of Wars.
He was the ghost of Sparta.
Oh.
That's why he was...
Hey, that one game was called that, right?
Yeah. He was covered in white because it was the ashes of his family because he burned their city down and he was a Spartan.
Oh, so that wasn't just his skin color, like he was covered in ash.
He was covered in his family's ashes.
Okay. I only know bits and pieces from like the original games. Like I know he was like tricked by Ares into murdering his family, but I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, he was tricked by Ares into murdering his family, and Athena cursed him to look the way he does until he can like show remorse or something for having had killed and destroyed his village and his wife and children. And then that's when he set on his quest to kill Hades, or not Hades, Ares, because Ares tricked him into doing what he did.
Okay, I knew the Ares part, but that was about it.
And then so he went. Ares, in the first one, Ares started to attack. I don't remember what city, but Ares went and came down to Earth and started to attack the city. Where then I believe it was Athena requested him to stop Hades, and in doing so, he went to Kronos. He opened up Pandora's box. There was nothing in there. He then grew to the size of a god. He fought Hades, took over the mantle of God of War by killing Hades. And then God of War 2 and 3 deals with timey-wimey shit. So it's kind of weird, but he ends up releasing the Titans to fight the gods, because the gods basically, and it's all stupid stuff, Zeus doesn't look at Kratos as a god because Kratos killed his brother, and Zeus ends up killing Kratos at the very beginning of God of War 2, where then, as he's going to hell, Terra, the Titan, the Earth Titan, like, stops him, or as he's going to Hades, Terra, the Earth Titan, like, rescues him and is like, if you free us, we'll help you stop the gods. And then it causes the war between all the gods and the Titans.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh. And then in God of War, when you see the shadow of Athena, or not the shadow, the ghost of Athena, it's because, like, when you kill the gods, they kind of turn into ghosts, and, like, Athena was the last god to die, I believe, or the second to last god to die, and so, like, she kind of sticks with him, but all the Greek gods are dead.
I knew that. I knew he killed all of the Greek gods by the end.
Mm-hmm.
But, and to be fair, Rich, I don't disagree with you that I think, like, a lot of, like, the Eastern religions would be interesting to dive into, just because they do have a lot of just weird history, like, tied to them. Like, look at, like a lot of the Japanese mythology around, like, some of their, like, deities and stuff like that is, like, super weird. Like, there's, like...
And it also, like, they're weird, they're wild, but it's also, like, I don't know how well that they're depicted as much of, like, the main gods are assholes or not. Like, Zeus fucking sucks. In actual mythology, Zeus sucks. And I'm sure it's the same, like, I've listened and learned a little bit about the Norse gods, and Thor isn't all that great. He's not a jerk, but he's not that great. And Odin, he's kind of just like whatever. So like they are changing their depiction a little bit, but it's like I don't know enough about a lot of the Eastern deities, but they're not assholes. A lot of them, they're not bad deities. They kind of just like they're all about peace. So like this could be a game where he's on the side of the gods because they're about peace instead of being like the Norse gods are fucking war gods. You know this. They're honored by the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the game where he finally finds peace, but he has to help defend the land from whatever creatures attack.
You know what? They could definitely like flip all of that and put it in that direction.
So that's all Kratos wants. He just wants peace. That's all
Does he?
wants.
He really seems to like murdering things.
He didn't want to murder anyone before. He didn't. Look at God. Well, 2018 he didn't want to murder anyone. God of War 2018 he did not want to kill anybody.
He fell right back into that pretty quick, though.
He had to defend himself because fucking what's-his-name attacked him out of nowhere.
That's true.
Like he just came, like, what is his name?
Baldur?
Yeah. He attacked him out of nowhere. And, like, he's mostly immortal, and, Nordic mythology, the reason he's mostly immortal is because, his mom, Freya, cast a spell to where he was immune to everything except for mistletoe, because mistletoe was so harmless that she didn't think it was a threat, which is why the mistletoe is what hurts and kills him in God of War 2018. She didn't cast a spell on that because it's not a threat.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, that's that's what his weapons were bound with and like held together was like mistletoe or whatever. And it's like actual mythology is she cast a spell to where he was invulnerable to everything except that, because it's harmless. And that's how he has died in mythology. Like, even Loki, in actual mythology, Loki's not a bad guy, he just gets a lot of shitty situations, because, like, him and Thor play tricks on each other a lot. And that's it. And earthquakes are him crying, because he's I can't remember fully. It's wild. Norse mythology's wild, but that's a lot more, there's not a lot of text on it, it's a lot more, spoken word stories.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so God of War, November. We'll see what happens. Oh, sorry, I lost track of the outline for a second there. So I tried the Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes demo.
Okay.
It's a very big demo. It apparently goes all the way up to Chapter 4 of that game. I've played over 3 hours, and I'm only on Chapter 1.
Sounds about right with how they did Hyrule Warriors. Their game's gonna be needlessly long.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna have 4 different endings. It's gonna diverge from the original story, and there's gonna be timey-wimey shit. So
all of those things are true in the prologue. So it's a Musou game. So the gameplay is super boring as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's just you button mash. And you just do that until it tells you you're done. But in between that, you have all the Fire Emblem stuff from Three Houses, which is actually really good. I like that part of it. If this game is ever, like, sub 25, probably, I might grab it and put it on, like, that, like, hey, just the story mode. Just to go through the story and not deal with all the stupid combat. But yeah, in the prologue, they set it up where it's the same 3 houses of Fire Emblem Hogwarts, and it's the same students, but your player character from Three Houses is like the villain, and you're some new mercenary that they stumble across. And where in the original game, similar setup where like you're kind of like a sellsword mercenary sort of thing who gets like wrapped up with this school, and you become a professor. In this one, they actually make you a student, but you're only a student for like an hour, and then they have a 2-year time skip. So. Whereas in Three Houses, the time skip was like late in like mid game, maybe even a little past mid game. Similar setup. I don't know how it. So I went with the Black Eagles again because that's who I had in Three Houses. So that was like the story I was the most familiar with, and it's definitely following a similar arc to that, even though it's kind of like sped up and things are different. I am curious how it would be different for the other 2 houses that aren't involved in this, because the whole story arc with the Black Eagles is they leave to go to the class head's home country so that she can take back the throne from her douchebag uncle and then start a war against the church.
What about the blue barracudas?
They didn't make it. They failed on that first challenge where they have to get across the water.
And the silver monkeys?
Same.
And those were the teams I always rooted for.
Yeah, no, it's the Black Eagles, the Golden Deer, and...
No, it's the Golden Monkeys. The Shrine of the Golden Monkey.
No, it's Shrine of the Silver Monkey. Come on.
Shrine of the Silver Monkey, damn it!
Man, this guy doesn't even know his Legends of the Hidden Temple.
It's because it always made me so mad because I got it wrong every time.
Yeah, they did.
How?
You know
pieces.
they brought that back with adults last year?
It lasted one season. It was on CW. I went to watch one episode, but then went to sleep instead.
Yeah, it's fucking...
Better use of my time.
We watched 2 episodes. It was fucking terrible.
Wasn't it like only 4 teams as well? Like they didn't have a full like 8 or whatever, and
that I don't remember, but I remember it being just not good.
Yeah,
like that's all I took away from it was not good. But like if you like Musou style combat, like the Fire Emblem game isn't bad. Like you have to like the balance. Like it's got a lot of the Fire Emblem like Three Houses RPG stuff. Like you spend a lot of time walking around talking to people, like messing with your strategy, like checking your weapons and seeing what classes you can change people to and everything. And then you have like a 15 to 20 minute like battle. So like it's split half decent, which is why like I would totally be willing to play this game for like a discounted price. $60 for like the Fire Emblem or the Dynasty Warrior combat is just too much for me. But it's kind of cool, and it does give you that kind of like you were saying about the Hyrule Warriors. It gives you that different take on Three Houses, but still brings you back to like those familiar characters and settings.
But you see, this different take on the story sounds much better than Hyrule Warriors, because Hyrule Warriors, it was leading up to the calamity, and then, they figured out time travel, so now they're coming back to stop the calamity. Fuck you, Hyrule Warriors. Fuck you.
That was the Age of Calamity one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that does sound stupid.
It lost everything on me once that happened. Like, I really enjoyed the game, but then when it's like, they're the partners that you met through Breath of the Wild, like all like the partners that jumped into the beasts and everything that you met through Breath of the Wild, they come back from the future to help the past companions and riders of the beasts fend off Calamity Ganon.
That's stupid.
And they succeed, which I hate even more.
But and that's where the timeline diverges again.
Yeah, because they succeeded. So then when those people go back, it's dumb, because now it's 2 separate timelines going on, because when they go back to their future, they're going back to Trunks' future before he came to the past, where Goku's dead from Saiyan cancer, and not going back to the future where they stopped Goku from killing, or they had Goku help kill Cell.
Hey,
and stop Goku
he
from
had
having Saiyan cancer.
He had heart disease, man.
Saiyan heart disease, Saiyan cancer, same thing, I think. I don't know. It's all Saiyan diseases only.
No, I think it was like anyone could get the heart disease. I think it was just Goku got it and they didn't have a cure for it yet.
I thought it was like a Saiyan thing. Like it affects everyone differently, but like Saiyans die from it.
They never got into that. It was literally just like, Goku, you're going to die of like heart failure in 2 years. Here's the medicine that'll help. It doesn't exist in your time, but we made it in 20 years when the world's ended.
But why not just wish him back to life with the fucking Dragon Balls?
Because the androids, he already he was, and this was Kami. At this point, Kami was still Guardians of Earth, and you could only wish somebody back once with the Earth Dragon Balls. And the androids killed Piccolo when they emerged, so there were no Dragon Balls on Earth. They had no way to get to the Namekian Dragon Balls either.
Then just send a message to Namek and asking
how
them to...
The two aliens that could do that are dead.
They had long-distance message sending, didn't they?
No, Goku telepathically communicated with King Kai.
And King Kai never... King Kai had contact with friggin' Tien and Yamcha and shit. He could have gotten in touch with King Kai.
He only ever talks to Goku.
No, King Kai was training Tien, Yamcha, Popo while they went to Namek.
Chaozu, not Popo.
Chaozu, yeah.
Popo's a problem. Chaozu's an adorable little mime child.
Yes. But, like, King Kai trained them.
Yeah.
Was training them while they were on Namek. So they could have contacted King Kai and been like,
what,
hey...
What I meant was, throughout the series, King Kai only speaks to Goku telepathically.
Yeah, but, I mean, they could have just had the others contact King Kai telepathically. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, others knew King Kai.
But did others have a telepathic link with him?
I mean, he trained
like, we don't know how...
He trained him on his planet with his useless car.
But
so,
not
yeah,
for a year.
Maybe.
He spent a year alone with Goku. He didn't
how
spend
long,
a year with the other 3. 4.
How long do you think it took them to travel from Earth to Namek?
You know what? This is actually documented somewhere. It was like 6 months.
I mean,
but
so it's almost a year.
But
But
they
also,
did not.
also, at this point, wasn't Namek gone?
No, they at the end of the Namek season. So when it comes to Namek, Frieza goes to destroy Namek, destroys the old Namekian on Namek. He dies. Guru. He dies, and their Dragon Balls become useless. All the Namekians are killed, and a lot of other people are killed. But Goku uses his abilities to instant transmission a lot of people back to Earth.
No, he doesn't have instant transmission yet.
Or,
he learns that after Planet Namek.
He finds some way to get everybody back to Earth.
Rich, okay.
But
here's how.
Let me finish.
No, this is the dumbest part. He has the Earth Dragon Balls get used because Kami's back, because Piccolo was wished back.
Yeah.
To resurrect everyone that Frieza killed, with the implication that it would also resurrect people that died of heartbreak because their race was killed by Frieza. So anyone indirectly murdered by Frieza also came back, which brought back the Namek Dragon Balls.
Yeah. And then they used the Namek Dragon Balls to wish everybody, except for Frieza and Goku, back to Earth.
Yes.
Or to Earth. And so they teleported everyone except for Frieza and Goku to Earth. And then that's when Goku was alone. And then did they eventually wish a new Namek or something? I don't know.
They found them a new planet that just... It has to have be in like a similar section of the universe, because like they've shown it a bunch of times. It looks just like Namek. It's got like the blue water, or the green water and the blue grass and shit. It's very weird. But I'm trying to remember. I can't remember what the third wish on the Namekian Dragon Balls was.
Fuck if I know.
Well, because the first one wished Piccolo. Oh, it was wishing Piccolo back to life and then wishing Piccolo to Namek. Those were the first 2 wishes.
Why did they wish Piccolo to Namek?
Because Piccolo was talking through... Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. King Kai also briefly talked to Gohan and Krillin while they were on Namek, while Goku was in the rejuvenation chamber. And Piccolo, like, took over the call and said, all right, Gohan, have the little boy wish me back to life, and then wish me to Namek, and I'll beat Frieza, because now I'm strong enough to do it.
Yeah.
And he wasn't.
And once they wished Piccolo to Namek, that's when the old man died and they lost their third wish.
Yeah.
While they were fighting Frieza, and that's when they got somebody on Earth to get the dragon, collect the Dragon Balls, summon the dragon, all within moments of all of this happening, and bring everybody back to Earth and back to life from Namek.
Yeah, if I remember
which
correctly,
then brought back the dragon.
I believe Mr. Popo, it's explained, started collecting the Dragon Balls as soon as Kami came back. So, like, a day. He spent a day and he got all the Dragon Balls because he can fucking teleport on his magic carpet. Mr. Popo's a problem, guys.
He's a problem. He's a problem. He's purple now, though. So, is he less of a problem?
I mean, like, is Jinx less of a problem?
I was exactly going to go there. Because they made the exact same change.
Anyway, Fire Emblem Warrior 3 Hopes.
It's good. I like it. I'm actually probably gonna finish the demo. Apparently, like it's a Switch demo, so it actually, like, your save will carry over and everything, which is cool.
Yeah.
And real quick, this is not Fire Emblem related. I also spent like 15 minutes with that Live Alive, however it's supposed to be played. That game seems like it could be super cool, and like they did a really nice job. Like they must have actually like remade this to some extent, because it's got that like 2D, 3D thing, kind of like Octopath and Triangle Strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And like it does not look like something that would have been on the Super Nintendo, but it seems interesting. Now, Rich, do you want to tell us about Monster Hunter Rise. I forget what the
Come
subtitle
on,
is.
you're almost there. You got this. You got this. I said it earlier.
Is it like Dawnbreak or something? It's similar, right? Sunbreak.
There you go. You got it. Yeah, we can talk about that for a bit. So, first of all, fuck you, PC Master Race people, because you don't get pre-installs on games.
I bet if you would have linked your Steam account with your Epic's Game account and launched it through Xbox Game Pass, it would have preloaded.
Game's not available on Game Pass.
Yeah, but you just launch it through there. You have to buy it on Steam.
So the game was available on. It pre-installed on Switches everywhere, but you could not access it till midnight your time. So
which
you could play.
Seems normal.
Which is normal. On PC, midnight East, it's available. But there's no pre-install, there's no preloader, there was no pre-install, preload, or anything like that. I even went into the game several times the day before, just to try to get it to update, to see if it'll update. And there was it was update whatever, 1 point whatever, blah blah blah, new monsters, the set, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, I guess it already updated, auto-updated or something. No, none of that. I purposely took off Thursday and Friday, because the game came out on Thursday. Purposely took off Thursday and Friday, so I could play late Wednesday into Thursday, then sleep in, because I couldn't really play until after my sister got off work, and then play late again Thursday into Friday, Friday into Saturday, whatever. But the game didn't actually go. I could not download the new patch or the update until 12:15 is when it went live on Steam.
That's really stupid.
And then it took a half hour for it to download and install. And so I was just I was live on stream, I was playing Apex, and then once midnight hit, I was playing with a couple of people. Once midnight hit, I was like, alright guys, I'm gonna get going, because I got another game to play, and they're like, okay. And I exited out, and I went to go load it in and install it. Didn't go up for 15 minutes. So I'm on stream, just troubleshooting, trying to figure this out. Not going live. And finally goes live, and it's 15 minutes. I'm like, you motherfuckers. I just want to, I took off tomorrow to stay up late to play this game. And I'm not gonna, I was so mad. Fuck you, Steam, for that. Fuck you. You should have pre-installed that game.
Does Steam ever do, real question, does Steam do pre-installs at all usually?
I have
no
idea.
Normal?
I don't know. It's not often I've bought games for day and date on PC. I have no idea if they actually do pre-installs.
They do.
But, just for some reason, they didn't do it for this one. So, that's all. I blame Steam on that, because it ran fine for Switch. I knew people who had access to it right away, midnight, on Switch. So this is all a Steam thing. This isn't a Capcom Monster Hunter thing. It's more a Steam thing. I'm mad at Steam for it. The game itself, though, is an absolute blast. The biggest problems I had with the vanilla release, the initial release, was that it was a drastically incomplete game. They would cap you at low level caps as well, but they would cap you at certain levels, and you would not be able to advance those levels until the content update in 2-3 months, something like that, or in a month and a half or whatever. And so all you would have to do is just fight the same monsters, and there weren't a lot of them at launch. There was not a lot at launch. They fixed all that with Sunbreak, or with how they released Sunbreak. Sunbreak, you have a lot of the... I would assume all of the content unlocked right away, but they do have at least 2 new monsters coming out in August. So, I don't know if they were already if they're already in the game, or if they're not, I don't know, but they have announced at least 2 new monsters coming out in August, with potential new story content and whatnot. I'm not really sure. But, for instance, in Vanilla Rise, the initial level cap was high rank 10 or 20. In Sunbreak, at least minimum 50 or 60. I haven't gotten to 50 yet, but something unlocks after you reach 50. So I don't know how high. It might be 100. It might just be a limitless level cap. Which the level doesn't matter. It's just your rank for how many monsters you fought and whatnot. But that also holds you down to things that you can unlock. So they with the cap in vanilla, if you continue to fight monsters, they didn't continue to add your experience to the back end to increase your rank. So once you fought the new thing that they released with content a month later at rank 10, you were rank 11, not rank 20 if you continue to play the game. They just did a really bad job releasing the vanilla version. They did a really great job with releasing.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And it let a lot of us down. They did hold back the progression once you reach cap still. So, in this game, in this version, once you start the new content, you're at master rank. You have to do everything to unlock the quote urgent quest to get you to level from master rank 1 to master rank 2, then from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and then maybe 5 to 6, and then that's when it unlocks to 10, and then to 20, and then to 30, and then to 50, and then so on. When you reach those caps, so like when you reach 10, if you don't do and complete the urgent and unlock your ranking, it doesn't continue to hold the progression of whatever else you're doing, which is still dumb. This is the only Monster Hunter game that's ever done that, because sometimes you're not good enough or strong enough or have the equipment to fight the thing at rank 10, so you need to rank up, you need to get armor and shit, and so that holds back your progression while forcing you to grind. It's a dumb system that they've never had in place before this game, which is just weird. But other than that, the new monsters that they incorporated are really fun. The new armor sets look really awesome. They have new missions where they called them, and they shouldn't have. They called them, quote, escort missions, which puts a bad taste in your tongue. When you think escort mission, you think you're going to be traveling with these people that aren't going to do anything. It's going to be boring. No, it's straight up, you just do a hunt with some of the NPCs. And if they die, if they go down to 0 HP, they just get knocked out and have to recover, and then they come back. It's not like you have to protect them or anything. It's just straight up, you're doing a hunt with the NPCs, which is really cool. Because they're smart. They actually attack. They don't just stand there. They do things. They have really good AI in these games, which is really great. It's also a really big pain in the ass when you're fighting some of these harder monsters. But yeah, they have a lot of new cool armor sets, a lot of new cool weapons, and different metas that are coming into play with the different armor skills and things like that. And the new map is really cool. There's 2 of them actually. One is they've recycled it throughout the games, but they update it each time, and that's just a really cool looking map. It's the islands, and then the new one, the true new one, is the Citadel, which is very Dark Souls-esque. It's got this big castle in it. It's where you fight Malzeno, which is the one monster that's based off of Dracula, and then it's like a cool setting. The music, of course, is always fantastic. The monster, some of the new monsters, Lunagaron, based on werewolf, he's a wolf creature. He's a 4-legged creature that when he rages, he goes on his 2 back legs and attacks with his front claws like a werewolf. Garen Golem, who's basically Frankenstein. I'm trying to remember what other, there's not many, quote, new ones besides the final boss that they threw in, which I don't even remember how to pronounce his name. But then they also have, returning things like Estalos, which is a lightning wyvern. They've got Sergios, or Reggie, or Steve, whatever you want to call him, which throws quills at you that make you bleed. They have the hermit crab, they have the other crab. Just everything about this game and what they did with the update is done so well and so right. Even the fights themselves have gotten exponentially harder, but still, unfortunately, the easiest Monster Hunter game out there. This is the easiest Master Rank Monster Hunter I've ever played in. I've always had a hard time with Master Ranks, but this one is just simple. And then the new skills and abilities they threw in, and how to activate them. It helps with, DPS sharing, so, I use a weapon that's not very powerful, but attacks a lot, and some of the new abilities they added makes me hit harder, which means that, I can actually pull my weight and not be a couple thousand DPS down short of the other players that I'm playing with. So it's we're all working together. Some of the new abilities with the hunting horn, one of them where you don't lose sharpness on your weapon, was really neat. I'm in the process of trying to put together new armor sets to try different weapons. So I've really only tried 2 weapons in this game. It was Gunlance when I played it on Switch, and Insect Glaive when I played it on this one. So I do need to try the other weapons, but I put 30 hours into this game this weekend. Minimum 30 hours.
Which, that's a lot for one weekend.
Yeah, but I'm including Thursday And I'm including Thursday into it, because I took off Thursday and Friday. Just because work has sucked lately. I wanted to take off to play this game anyway. So Thursday and Friday I put 7 hours into it each. Saturday I put about 5-ish. 5 or 6, maybe about 6. So we're looking at 20 hours right there. Sunday I put maybe about 3 or 4 into it in the morning and another 3 or 4 into it in the evening. And then Monday I put down another 4 hours into it as well. So we're close to 30 over the course of the weekend that it came out. And it's just it's great. It's fantastic. The one cool thing they added is the end game gimmick. So they always have once you reach master rank, once you kill the last boss, or they'll have some sort of different kind of gimmick. So in Monster Hunter World, it was called I can't remember what it was called, but it was one zone with all of the different biomes in it, and you could just go there and constantly fight monsters until your heart's content, until you're done. And that was to cut down on load times. You could sit there, you could fight monsters, kill them, and then other random monsters will come in, all kinds of monsters, and it was fun. It was a neat a neat way that they did this. In previous versions, it was a procedurally generated map you would jump into and just go from location to location trying to find different monsters. This one, they didn't do anything like that. This one, what they added is they call it the anomaly. And the monsters you fight get an infection. And the way they explain it, if you don't fight these monsters, they're stronger, they're more powerful, but they're sick and they're going to die. But we need to stop them from causing havoc. They're not going to cause too much havoc, but we need to stop them anyway before they hurt too many other monsters or people or whatever. So when you go to fight them, since Monster Hunter is very much a targeting game where you have to target different parts to break them, to get the different items, this one, they have the hit zones occasionally being covered in a red orb or a red aura. And you have to pop these red auras against these monsters that have way inflated health pools. And when you pop the red aura, it causes a lot of damage, and if you can break all the red auras on them, it'll knock them down. But if you can't break the auras, they attack faster, they attack stronger, and eventually they'll also do an AoE attack around them that will knock you down and potentially kill you if a little orb that circles around them hits you. So it's a different sort of DPS check that they threw into this game that's not similar to anything they had before, but it still makes it fun because it gives you a reason to go back and fight some of these earlier, weaker monsters that no one would really want to go fight, but it also gives you a reason to continue to push to try to unlock the different weapons, because in order to unlock the last level, the highest tier weapons, you need to get the parts from these infected monsters. So it's a neat, different kind of gameplay mechanic that they've never done before.
Okay. And then, Rich, I don't know if you saw the thing that Drew posted. I didn't read the whole thing, so I may have misunderstood it, but it sounds like you can only preload a game if it's over 20 gigs.
Actually, that says it's recommended if it's over 20 gigs. So I don't know that they can't, but because the Sunbreak is only a 13 gig download, I guess Capcom was like, it's not 20 gigs, we're not going to do preloads on it. Also, don't know if it being DLC makes a difference.
But they preloaded it on the Switch.
But that's the Switch and not Steam.
That's what I'm saying.
It's dumb.
They did the preload on the Switch, but they didn't do the preload on Steam, which I think is more. If anything, based on if it might be more of a Steam issue than it was a Capcom decisioning issue. I feel like they would have decided to let everyone just pre-install it at any point the day before.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a thing that they have to opt into, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Which doesn't seem unreasonable, but also seems silly that they didn't just opt into it.
Unless there is that 20 gig is a hard limit, and Valve was just nah, we know you're Capcom, still not letting you do it.
Yeah. I really don't think it was a Capcom decision.
Capcom's real fucking dumb with their PC shit, so it also wouldn't shock me if it was.
Yeah.
But, actually, Rich, is this the first time that they've released a Monster Hunter thing on more than, on a platform and PC at the same time?
Yes. So, World and Iceborne. World was released, and then they had the PC version, and then Iceborne released, and then they had the PC version, like, a few months later. This was the first time they released both games day and date. Like, even Rise and Rise PC were a few months separate from each other as well. So this is the first time they released them both at the same time.
Okay, I thought so, because I remember you kind of, like, talking about that in the past, not being able to...
That was like some of the harder decision I had to do was, do I buy this on PC? Like the main reason I got it on PC, as much as I didn't want to play through the game again because of how bad of a starting experience I had, it was the only thing that was really pushing me was these games come out at the same time, and because they refuse to do crossplay, absolutely refuse. It's either get it on PC or get it on Switch. There was no option. And if I got it on Switch, I wouldn't be able to play with the people I play with. If I got it on PC, I wouldn't be able to play with a lot of the people who are getting it. So it was that catch-22.
Which, like, that's just real stupid that you have to even make that decision.
Yeah, it's my biggest issue with gaming in general in 2022 is that people refuse to do crossplay. Like, it's becoming less and less, but it's still crossplays should be a lot more accessible. We went over this a few weeks ago. It should be a lot more accessible than it.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. But instead of me only buying the DLC for $40, I had to spend $70 to get the game when it was on sale half off, and then the DLC at $40. So I had to basically buy a whole game to get the whole game over the course of the last month and a half.
Yeah, which, it looks like it's going to rain. Sorry. Like, I just happened to look out the window and, like, it got much darker, and not just because it's later. But Rich, anything else you want to say about Monster Hunter?
I'm very much loving the new endgame content that they threw in. I'm definitely going to be playing it. Because I put so many hours into it this week, I kind of got, like, drained and worn out a little bit. So, like, when it comes to streaming, it's going to stick back to just once a week on Mondays. I'll probably play it outside of stream now that I don't have to go on stream every day. Starting tomorrow is my last day. So, like, I'm definitely going to be putting some hours into it moving forward each week. But, like, they did a really good job with this one. And, like, the final boss is really cool. A lot of the new fights are really cool. Fighting Seregios is one of the more stressful things I've ever had to do in those games. But it's still a fun fight. Like, they changed him up so much from older versions to this one. He will not stop moving sometimes. And it's, like, frustrating as all hell, but it's still a fun fight. And same with a lot of the other newer monsters and newer things that they incorporated. Like, it can be rough. It can be hard. But it's still... They find a way to make it fun, especially if you have the proper skill sets and things like that. So, yeah, I've fallen back in love in Monster Hunter with this game, and it looks like they're going to continue to support it. So, I mean, I might talk about it a little bit more next week. Probably won't really talk about it until August when the new content drops, and then I think it's like every 3 months after that for the future.
Okay, I mean that's really not too bad.
No, the first content drop is August, and that is as far as at least Lucent Nargacuga, which is a monster that can go invisible and is also poison. And Seething Basilgeuse, which is basically a B-52 bomber, but even more angry. And then following that, they just have multiple monster releases moving forward for the foreseeable, for the next 2 or 3 quarters. So, I mean, I'm gonna stick with it on stream, open lobbies every Monday on PC. If you've got it on PC, you want to come hang out and fight some monsters with me, come on over and play on stream on Mondays. Monster Hunter Mondays or Monster Mondays. It's gonna stick with that until I'm done with the game. Until I'm bored with it.
I mean, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about a little Uncharted?
Sure. Let's get into it.
So, what did you guys think of the 2022 film Uncharted? This is our book club also.
Yeah, we're in book club. I thought it was perfectly fine. I didn't think it was amazing. I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was perfectly fine. It was an entertaining enough movie to where, like, I won't necessarily say I'd watch it again, but I would watch a sequel.
Mm. Yeah. That's a good way to describe it. It was very much a popcorn movie. It was, I will say this, it was a extremely well done video game movie.
Yeah. I like that they like kind of made it a pseudo origin story, because I don't think we ever actually got an origin story in Uncharted about like how they met.
No, you do. I want to say it's Uncharted 3 is the one that you have the flashbacks to Nate as a kid meeting Sully. And then in Uncharted 4 you get they definitely they cherry pick different plot points from different games.
Yeah.
But like it actually worked out well, because like you set up him having a brother early, which they didn't do until the last game. Mm-hmm. You show him meeting Sully, and rather than it being this weird like 14-year-old kid meeting this adult man in some like foreign marketplace, it's, you know, an adult like thief, con artist, whatever you want to call him, pickpocket, meeting like a guy who's actually a criminal, and you know, kind of learning what it means to be like a pirate, essentially.
Yeah.
And like I don't particularly care for Mark Wahlberg. Like I don't have like a strong opinion about him. I don't think his action movies are ever very good, but he's actually pretty funny in most of the comment. Like he has good comedic timing.
Yeah.
So like I thought a lot of his interactions with Tom Holland actually worked out really well. Same with the girl. I don't know what the actress's name is, but the one that played Chloe, like I thought she was actually pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't spend too much time developing that relationship so that they can actually like develop it in a sequel or something like that more.
Well, I mean, the next one, if they do a sequel, if they greenlight a sequel, it's going to be Uncharted 1. And so they're going to have, what's her name in it? I can't remember her name.
Elena.
Will they though? Because like the end of this one sets up that his brother's probably alive, and well, not probably alive. His brother is alive, and did you watch the credit scene?
Yeah, he's looking for Nazi gold.
Yeah, and but they get held up at the end of it.
But he gets both the map and his ring back. He does get held up at the very, very end of it. But that, like, I have a feeling that's going to be like if they were to do a sequel, it would be like an intro scene. They get out of that, of course, and then like they go looking for the Nazi gold, and that's when at some point throughout that they're gonna run into her, or maybe that's who stopped her, was Elena or whatever. Right? That's what her name. Like,
Elena is like the reporter from the series.
Yeah, like, but they probably lost her tail. Like, she was probably following them. They lost her and went to go do this meeting, and she probably caught up with them at the end or something. Like, they don't really like fully explain what happened at the end. It's just kind of left it open.
And like that might not even be where the movie picks up, because movies do that sort of thing all the time. But they weren't looking for Nazi gold in the original game. He was looking for Drake's treasure.
They were looking for El Dorado, which the Nazis were looking for.
Right.
It is mentioned in the game.
Well, I remember they found a Nazi U-boat, but I didn't remember them looking for Nazi gold. I think that's what.
Well, I mean, they weren't looking for Nazi gold. They were looking for El Dorado, but
which the Nazis were also looking for.
Yeah,
I mean, the Nazis were looking for everything.
Yeah.
If it was a myth, they were probably looking for it.
I'm interested to see if they go the more fantastical route. If they pull a sequel, or if they try to stick it to be more grounded. I mean, I don't know how grounded flying around giant helicopters with boats are, but you get what I'm saying.
There was no supernatural thing, which I know the first one had like the zombie things. The second one, it was the like Yeti monsters at Shambhala.
Yeah.
The third one, there wasn't anything supernatural. It was just like a hallucinogenic.
He was tripping on drugs, but like I think, it was mostly just tripping on drugs.
Did 4 have anything?
I don't remember.
I don't think it did.
I'm trying to remember 4, and I don't. I remember really enjoying 4, and I don't think it went very, very supernatural.
I know 4 ended with them fighting on a pirate ship. It wasn't being flown through the air, but there was that sword fight on the pirate ship. That's why I said, like, they definitely cherry picked a bunch of different things. Like, even like the plane. Like, the plane was that Uncharted 2 or 3? 3, right?
It was 2, actually.
I know the train was in 2. I think.
The train was 2. The plane was 3. You're right. Yeah.
But I think the plane crashed in the desert, not in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's where the trailer scene or whatever of him walking through the desert was after the plane crash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But
I really liked both the little Easter eggs / cameos that they had in it.
Like Nolan North?
They had Nolan North at one point, which, I'm sorry, he looked super fake. Like, it looked like they tried really hard to make him look like Nathan Drake. Like, his face just didn't look like an actual face.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I thought that just looked like Nathan Drake, or like Nolan North.
No, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I just, when I saw his face, I was like, this just doesn't look like, and I'm not trying to throw shade at Nolan North. I'm not trying to say he
sounds like you are.
Maybe the only shade I'm trying to say is like his face looks too perfect to be real. But like it just his face.
That sounds like a compliment.
Exactly. like his it didn't look like a real face. I don't know what it was. But then there was also when he was getting ready to go meet up with Sully, the after making the phone call after having broken into his apartment, he opens up the trunk to grab his necklace, the ring, and there's a Naughty Dog sticker on the trunk.
I missed that.
I
remember stickers, but I don't think I noticed that there was a Naughty Dog one.
It was on the inside.
It was right big on the inside when he pulls the ring out. Like he flips it open and goes scratching through, and it is real big on the screen. Like
yeah, I
hard
totally
to
missed that somehow.
You had to you had to be trying to miss. It was hard to miss.
I might have not been looking at the TV at that moment. Were there any other Easter eggs?
I think those are the two most like explicit ones, but then like you said, a lot of the stuff was like twists on things from the different games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like the whole auction scene is basically part of 4.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that in 4.
Yeah, there's the whole you're breaking into an auction and trying to cut off the power to steal a cross. It's a different cross, but it's still a cross.
Yeah, which you know what, at least it's almost nice that they didn't just try to adapt one full game, because I feel like that's where a lot of these movies like end up failing, is they either try to adapt the game too closely or try to do something completely original.
Yeah. Like the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, because like the Tomb Raider movie from like 2018, like it is very similar to the 2013 reboot, and like I feel like it suffers for that, because some of the more interesting stuff in that movie are the things that like are like Tomb Raider adjacent, but not like beat for beat from the games.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by how not bad this movie was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like I mean, I went into it not expecting it to be terrible or not expecting it to be bad, but like I didn't think it was going to be like the greatest thing ever, but I assumed it was going to be pretty much fine.
Yeah, like it reviewed fairly well. It made more money than movies like this usually like video game movies usually make, or at least used to. That like they're doing much better nowadays, probably because they're actually putting a little more thought and effort into them. But yeah, like I just kind of expected it to be like very cookie cutter by the numbers, and like not that it isn't like very easy to know like what's going to happen and when. It's at least like it's a fun ride to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rich, like you said when we first started, like don't necessarily ever need to watch this one again, but like would certainly watch a sequel when they inevitably do one.
Yeah, like I would like if I had cable or if I had just regular TV and I saw it on, I'd watch it. But like I unless it becomes like free on a streaming platform or something, I probably wouldn't really rent it to watch it again or anything like that. But it was worth at least one watch, and it's worth a watch. It's worth like coming up with your own opinions on it in a sense. Like yeah, it was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was good.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And the idea of like, oh, if this was on like TV and you were just flipping through the channels, you'd leave it on. Like yeah.
That honestly, I use the TV test a lot. That's what I call the TV test. Like it's like, how good of a movie is this? Is this a movie that I would skip over on TV? Is it a movie I'd watch when it's on TV? Is it a movie I'd look for specifically when like trying to scroll through things? And it's like, if I find a movie that like when I'm done watching, I'm like, I'd continue watching this if I saw it while scrolling the channels. That's a solid movie. It's not going to be an amazing movie. It's not a good movie. It's a solid movie. Like, I do the same thing with, like, The Matrix is a TV movie. Like, if I'm scrolling through and I see Matrix 2 or 3 on, sure. If there's nothing else, I'll watch this. Sure. Like, if I see the first Matrix is going to be playing in 2 hours, I'll set my clock to that. And I'll watch that. But like Matrix 2 and 3, if I'm scrolling through and like, oh look, Matrix Reloaded's on. Sure, let's go ahead and watch it. Or look, Uncharted's on. Look, Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander's on. Let's watch it. I believe that's her name.
Yeah, that's who it is. And that is true. Like that actually sums it up pretty well. Like I would not, even on a streaming service, I don't think I'd ever like actively be like, oh, Uncharted's here, I'm gonna watch Uncharted. But like, yeah, if there's just like nothing else on and like I see that, like that would definitely be the thing that I put on when I first turn the TV on and see it's there, while I then scroll to see if there's anything else to watch.
Can we just take a moment and complain about Amazon Prime Video?
Oh, just how fucking stupid it is now?
It's just so stupid. Like, oh my god, I had to ask you guys how to watch this fucking movie, because, like, you can't look it up on the Amazon app. You can't look it up on the Prime Video app, because because you have to buy it online, on fucking desktop view or whatever for using your phone, or on your fucking desktop. So you have to open up your web browser on your phone to buy this movie, or to rent this movie, because they're just like, oh, we don't, because they're stupid. Because Amazon is fucking stupid.
Yeah, and it's like, you can't do it from the Amazon shopping app. You can't do it from, if you have a device with the Amazon Prime Video app on it. So like, I can't order something from my TV. I have to still pull out my phone, go to the website and order it, and then reload it on my TV, and it'll have like Watch Now listed. But I was saying it yesterday too, Comixology is the same way. You can no longer make purchases through the Comixology app. You actually have to go to Amazon's website, search for the comic, purchase it there, and then go back to Comixology to download it.
It's so stupid. I hate it so much.
I don't know for sure whether it's a Google and Apple are blocking Amazon from doing it, or if Amazon just decided to do it so that they don't have to pay Google and Apple any like service fee. Because that was kind of the thing that was happening with Epic Games. What was that, last year, the year before, with that whole trial, where like Epic was, you could buy like Fortnite dollars on like your PlayStation, but then spend them on an iPhone. And Apple didn't like that, because that meant that they weren't getting any money from things being purchased through their ecosystem. Or like, I think part of it was also like you could do the purchases directly through the Fortnite app, which circumvented their like terms of service. So like, that's why they had that whole big lawsuit. So I think like this is kind of fallout from that, of Amazon just, okay, well, like we're just not going to allow digital purchases through any of our apps now.
Because Amazon can't afford to lose 30 cents a purchase.
Exactly.
Not even. Like, they're so strapped for cash that they can't afford to lose whatever the processing fee would be for me to rent a movie. That, like, and look, this is a very first world problem thing to complain about, for sure, 100%. But it's still stupid. It is still stupid.
It 100% is. I actually, like, I've had the Comixology Unlimited subscription for almost a year. I canceled it like 2 months ago, because between the app is just a broken piece of garbage now. Like, Amazon finally fully integrated it and just fucking ruined it. In every conceivable way. They made it just an unusable sack of shit. And then they took away the ability to purchase anything. So it's like, so this is actually useless now. So I'm just going to cancel this subscription, because I'm not going to buy anything through you, because it's a bad experience to try and download it, and I have to go to a website to purchase everything. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. Amazon's just Amazon about things.
It's weird that you couldn't buy it on your TV. Like, you have a built-in app on the TV?
Yeah, but it's an Android app, because my TV is Android TV.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, if you have an Amazon TV or something, or just a generic, like, LG, it's not running through Google.
Like, how did you buy it, Drew?
On the Amazon Video app on my LG OLED.
Yeah, so it's not an Android app, so I bet that's why. Same thing, like, I'm sure if you had a Fire Stick, you would have been able to purchase it right through the Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Or a Roku, for that matter.
Or even just an Alexa that's connected to your media devices in general. You could have ordered it through you could have told Alexa to rent it, and then play it onto whatever Google device you may have. Like,
that's true, and even just renting it, you probably could have had the Alexa rent it, and then just gone to the app to play it.
Yeah. It's just it was so dumb. I hated it. dumbest thing ever. So dumb.
Yeah, no, I am right there with you.
But yeah, Uncharted though was a fine movie. Like
it was a solid 7 out of 10. 6.
That is significantly higher than I thought you would have given it, True.
I mean, and that's something like I don't even know if I would give it a 7. I'd probably give it a 5 to a 6 between there, maybe.
No, I'd give it like a 6.5 to a 7. I was entertained.
Yeah, but
it was above mediocre. Like, so,
a 5 to a 6 is still above mediocre.
A 6 definitely is. I'd say a 5 is the definition.
Like the definition of mediocre. Below that, it's below. A 5 is average. An average, like, of 1 to 10. Like, a 5 would be the midpoint. Below that is below good. Above that is in the good territory. So maybe a 7's generous. Somewhere between that 6 and a 7. Like, it was entirely watchable. I'd have rather it had been an Uncharted game, but, like...
Yeah, like, I was never bored during it.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I would lean to that, like, 6, 5, 7. Just because, like, you have, your 5 would be, like, a movie that's, like, totally serviceable, but that you're, like you get distracted through a couple times, or that just overstays its welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't over 2 hours, which a lot of movies are any fucking more. And it kept moving.
Yeah.
But, whose pick is next? I don't really know.
Believe it would be Drew's pick.
I fucking don't have anything.
Then
he doesn't watch entertainment.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, there's one thing I would suggest, but I don't feel like suggesting something that will take 7.5 hours for y'all.
So what is it? I'm curious.
A season, I believe it's 6. Hold on, let me pull it back up. It's a season of the show Taskmaster.
Is that one of those, like,
It is a British comedy game show.
Okay, I thought it was something different. I was thinking it was one of those, like, competition shows.
I mean, it is a competition show.
No, but like one of those, like physical competitions.
I mean, it is, but not exactly what you think. Not like Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was kind of thinking.
Oh, so it would be season 7 if I went with that. But there are 10 episodes that are about 45 minutes apiece. It's all on YouTube. It's free. Watch it. It's really fucking funny.
Yeah, I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, a handful of people I follow on Twitter mention it a bunch. And then my one friend and I were watching Big Fat Quiz of the Year on YouTube. It's a British game show that they do at the end of every year. And watching that and then having seen Taskmaster mentioned a bunch, like, I searched it and I was like, oh yeah, now, like, I've watched, like, every season that's on YouTube. Sarah bought one of the recent seasons on Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it wasn't on YouTube.
Oh, wow, these are, like, legit on YouTube.
Yeah. Like, their YouTube channel has the first 10 seasons, was it?
At least
or 9. Yeah. I think Sarah just bought 10, and they're up to 13 right now.
Huh. I might check it out just to see what it looks like. But Rich, do you have a pick then?
I have a bunch of picks.
Oh
no. So I'm gonna ask. I have a few options. There's one that I've been very interested in watching, and I kind of want to do that one. I just don't know how good or bad it's going to be. I haven't really looked into it. But you know, yeah, we'll go with that one, and then next time I have a pick, I'll ask more questions about what we want to watch. So there's a movie called Birdies. I talked about it to you guys a while back. It used to be only rentable through their website. It's now on Amazon, and I believe you don't have to pay for it. I believe it's on Prime Video. It's called Birdies.
Golf movie, right?
Yeah, it's a movie it's a comedy movie. I believe it's comedy. It should be a comedy based on one of the actresses in it. It's an indie movie where, like, they're trying to, like, revitalize a golf course or something that they own. I'm not 100% sure. The only reason I know about it is there's a YouTube channel called Neebs Gaming that I watch a lot of, and one of the main cast members on that channel, Duralius, he plays one of the lead characters in this movie. It was all, like, filmed in, I believe, South Carolina is where they're located, and it's like a small indie film. I believe it's on Amazon Prime Video.
It is. It's a $6 rental.
I am not renting another movie for $6.
All right, then I'll do. Do you guys want? These are both going to be. The other options are going to be subtitle movies.
I can deal with subtitles.
Do you want action or thriller?
Drew, what do you think?
I mean, do you mean thriller as in like horror-esque?
I don't know. I've never seen it, but I know it's more of a thriller.
I would say action, because action's usually a little bit easier to like get through with subtitles.
One of them won like Best Picture or something like that. The thriller won Best Picture that I've never seen.
Oh, is it like that?
It's Parasite.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah, apparently that's a very good movie.
Yeah. So do we want to watch a Best Picture movie, or do we want to watch something that I've heard a lot about and seen a lot about, and it looks really, really good? It's an action film.
Is it The Raid?
No. So Parasite is Korean. The one I'm thinking about is called RRR, and it is Indian. I believe it's like a Bollywood film that I've seen some things. It looks really good. I watched some trailers and videos about it.
Holy shit! It's 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Is it really? Jeez.
Yeah.
Also, Parasite doesn't seem to be free streaming anywhere.
It's on Hulu.
It said on Hulu. It didn't say subscription needed or anything, so it said I was.
I'm trying to see if it's actually still available on Hulu. Yeah, it is still available on Hulu.
Okay, it is a free. I always get confused when searching and it says Hulu subscription. I'm like,
if it said, it would say premium subscription required, or premium subscription means that it's not on Hulu, it's on like HBO or whatever. But if it just said subscription or subscribed or whatever, that just means it's on Hulu itself.
Yeah, generally, I use Just Watch, and generally, if it's under the streaming thing and says sub, it just means that you need a subscription to that platform. It generally won't pull things that are like Hulu Live TV only. So that's helpful. And it actually says it's available on Disney Plus because if you have the Disney Plus bundle, which I think is funny. But I would do Parasite, I think, over the 3-hour action movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Because apparently Parasite is actually really good.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about Parasite. I've never seen it. I know like one Best Picture or something like that, or was at least nominated for it, which
it won something major like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a comedy movie according to Hulu.
Well, it got nominated for things under comedy because American awards things are like, I don't know, horror movies? Fucking comedy, I guess. I don't know. We don't have a thing.
I mean, that's true. Like, comedy is usually like, it's like musical or comedy is usually like how award shows do it. I just think it's funny, like, Just Watch has it listed as mystery, thriller, horror, comedy, drama. Hulu, comedy.
Maybe it's a comedy.
So this better be the funniest fucking movie I've ever seen.
Hey, rate it as if it's a comedy. Let's talk about it as if it's a comedy in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. All right, so yeah, we'll watch Parasite in 2 weeks. Should be an interesting time. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so.
No. Tomorrow is my last stream in 32 streams in a row, so come hang out. I'm going to start around 6 Eastern Time, which is actually today when this releases, Thursday the 7th. So come check it out.
What's your Twitch?
Twitch.tv/b_walnuts. I don't know what I'm playing, so we'll figure it out at some point.
Super Mario World.
No. I want to have a good last stream, not a bad one.
I want to have a good last stream. I don't want to play one of the best games ever made.
I don't agree with that statement at all. We've gone over this.
It's because you have bad fucking opinions.
I acknowledge that it is a good game. I cannot acknowledge or agree that it's the best fucking game of all time. No.
I did not say the best game of all time. I said one of the best games of all time.
I cannot even agree that it sits there in one of the best games of all time. Like,
it's the fucking best Mario game, and it's not even close.
I'd very strongly have to disagree.
All right,
with
fine. Mario 3 is also really fucking good.
No, Richie likes the 3D Marios better.
Because he has wrong opinions.
I mean, when was the last time you played a 3D Mario game?
Last year when they released the 3D...
Him, not you. Him.
Mario 64. Probably.
Okay, so...
Did you ever try Odyssey?
No. I think
Odyssey?
We have it. I keep meaning to play it.
Odyssey is a fantastic fucking game.
I'm sure it
Better
is.
than Mario World. And
Yes.
honestly, I'd even say Galaxy is a fantastic fucking game. Better than Mario World.
Both Galaxy and Odyssey, both fantastic. I have played all of them. I would still pick Mario World.
I think you've got nostalgia goggles with that.
I
No.
think most people are in that boat.
I'll go out on a limb. I don't particularly think Mario 3 is all that good. Like, I would not rank that one. I would rank Odyssey and Galaxy over 3. Like, World is number 1, and then I'd probably have Odyssey or Galaxy as like 2 or 3, and then like Mario 3 would be like down the list a little bit. So
Fair.
there. Also, just the Mario thing reminded me of something. It's from Games Done Quick. They had a Super Mario Sunshine speedrun. I think it was supposed to be all 120 shines, and the game hard crashed in the middle of it,
Oh, no.
and the person lost an hour.
Ouch.
Yeah. So they were
like, did they get to restart the timer?
no. So like when they're doing GDQ stuff, it's not for like they're never going for whatchamacallit, like world record times. Like usually if you actually look up the runner and the game they're running, their time is actually usually significantly better than what the estimate is that they submit to GDQ. They usually pad like 10 to 20 minutes extra for things to go wrong, because like when they're trying to get like a world record or like a player best, as soon as something goes wrong, they just reset the game and restart the timer. But in a marathon, you can't do that. Like, if something goes wrong or you make a mistake, you're fucking figuring it out as you go.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, like, it wasn't the runner's fault. Like, the game crashed. Like, the GameCube, like, reset or something like that. So they lost an hour and had to just, like, do it all over, and ended up, like, an hour over estimate. And it was a bummer.
I forget exactly what happened the one year, but there was one year there was a Mario 3 race happening, and the one streamer / YouTuber I follow, Grand Pooh Bear, like, stomped, and it shook the console enough that it froze one person's console and fucked up their run.
Oh, that sucks.
Like, he didn't mean to. He
Yeah.
just, like, a thing happened, he got excited, and it's an NES, so fucking the slightest tremor potentially makes that thing fuck up. So
Yeah,
then the next year when they did races, they made sure all the consoles were up on the table, so Pooh couldn't do that again.
Nice. Yeah, I know, he was supposed to be in one of the relay races and couldn't make it, so they had to fill him in with somebody else.
Yeah,
there were a few of those.
His wife and kid got COVID.
Oh, that sucks.
And, like, he was healthy, but wasn't sure, and was like, I can't go with them being sick. Like,
And, like, apparently, like, GDQ was, like, on top of stuff still. Like, you had to have, you had to be fully vaccinated and boosted, and you had to have a mask on at all times. And, like, every time they showed anybody, whether it was, like, a person sitting at the, like, playing their game, like, more than 6 feet away from everybody else in that room, they still had a mask on the whole time, and you could even hear, like, the host and stuff like that that's off camera. You could tell they were talking through a mask.
mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, they kept that, they tried to keep that shit as, like, safe as it can be for having that many people still, like, congregated into one place.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think that's gonna do it for this week.
Yeah.
If you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Stitcher, all the fun places. We're on all of them. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. It all helps a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline, or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. And our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And Rich, what is your Twitch again?
Twitch.tv/B_.
And you can go check him out for his final 32 days of streams on Thursday, July 7th. What time are you starting that again, Rich? Like 6:30, 7?
Yeah, probably around 6 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to do a long stream. I haven't decided what we're going to play yet, but come check it out. Might do some Fall Guys, might do some Apex, might jump around in a bunch of different games. Probably won't do Monster Hunter, but we might jump into that. Depends on how I'm feeling.
All right. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. Otherwise, we'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
See yous.